Trilogy Trail Treasures number 1A starts here right at the Cascade Club. This walk starts here in behind the club and the Cedar Lodge. Behind the Cedar Lodge is a Boy Scout, Eagle Scout project that one of our local scouts put together this nice flag and plaque and bench in honor of our armed forces. Next, we see a big, beautiful map of all the trails in Trilogy, and this was provided by the Forest Stewardship Committee. A few more steps and we come to the entrance of the Cascade Club Trail, which is 0.09 miles in length. And on the left is their trail sign. On the right is a big leaf maple tree, sort of guarding the way in. This whole walk is very short and very easy. It's around 0.3 miles in length, round trip. Give you an idea how short it is. It goes on 2 trails plus part of another one, the Kari's Bog Trail. And I wanted to show you this nurse log, stump I should say, and it has an old bush or tree growing out of it. Can't tell what it is because it may be dead. Here's a big old snag that woodpeckers have been feasting on in those holes. Here's a point of interest along this trail. The Forest Stewardship Committee has put up about 50 plus grid markers, and they will locate where you are because at the fire station in Redmond Ridge, there's a map on the wall that shows all of our Trilogy trails, and if you had an accident here at 04, for example, and you called 911, they'd be over here in a jiffy, and they know approximately where to find you. And also in this area, huge sword ferns, a lot of them. And then you even see sword ferns growing out of old rotten logs like this. Here's one of my favorite points of interest on this trail, and I call this the dinosaur's claw because that's what it reminds me of. The trail crosses the golf cart path just up ahead, as you can see, and there's a bollard in the middle of the trail to keep off unwanted vehicles, golf carts or others. I think the only ones that can get through are bikes. After crossing the golf cart path, there's numerous salmon berries, and right now they're in bloom, and there's a big patch of them. Pretty soon, later in the summer, we'll be getting the berries. Here's close-ups of the berries and the flowers, the berries that are yet to ripen. A bit farther on, we come to evidence of a pretty good sized fir tree that's been down crossing this trail, and you can see pieces of it and parts of it on both sides of the trail. Very soon you come to a number of trail signs, and you'll know when you get to this point you're at an intersection with Kari's Bog Trail. So now you've just walked under 1/10 of a mile, and we're going to turn right onto Kari's Bog Trail, and you can see an ancient stump here with a huge hemlock tree growing right out of the top. So we're going to follow that gentleman down the trail just a little ways, and we'll come to... Here's another interesting batch of ferns growing out of trees. We come to a pile of logs that has some beautiful mushrooms growing out of the logs. This type of mushroom is called conks, C-O-N-K-S. It's worth stopping and taking. Right near the logs, there's a beautiful patch of bleeding hearts, wildflowers that are just finishing up their blooming, I think. After another 1/10 of a mile, you'll come to further signs and a big split log bench. And obviously, we've arrived at our entrance to Kari's Bog, called the Overlook Trail on the left. The Overlook Trail is about 0.04 miles in length, which qualifies it, I believe, to be the shortest trail here at Trilogy. Very short walk farther, you come to a very well-maintained bridge, maintained by the Forest Stewardship Committee, and you'll see a caution sign that indicates that horse traffic should not go there, foot traffic only. Here's a good example of early day logging, where the loggers had to saw everything by hand, and they would chop a notch in the tree, put on a plank that they could stand on, and saw above it. Only the usable part of the tree would be kept, leaving the stump. Now we're arriving at Kari's Bog Overlook, just down front. I don't know about you, but I like big leaves, and I'm sure that some of these leaves on this big skunk cabbage are 3 feet long. And they show up on both sides of this overlook. There's more skunk cabbage on the other side. One of our members, who no longer lives here, Mike Kennedy, thought that he recognized Sitka spruce, and they are not native in this area that he knows about. From this view, you can see a beaver lodge. It looks like just like a pile of sticks, which it is really, but that's where the beaver lives. And if you can see far enough here with binoculars, you can see other cedar lodges throughout this whole area. Here's a panoramic view of the area. Here's a sign telling you or urging you to enjoy Trilogy's natural heritage, and including that this is a sphagnum bog, and there's all kinds of growing plants coming up in it, and there's much hidden wildlife. Here's a memorial plaque to Kari Osterhaug, an environmental scientist, and she was instrumental in preserving this bog in its natural state. Enjoy it in her memory. And part 2 of this Kari's Bog program will be directed at the story behind how she found this place and kept the developers from ruining it, and she was able to preserve it. But that will be in a second video in this series. Thank you for watching. This is Lyle Hansen signing off.